Real fast, I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Upworthy Weekly. It's a lighthearted news podcast. It comes out on Saturdays, and I have forced my co-host, Todd Perry, to join me here to help me tell you about our new venture. Todd, why should they listen?
Well, I mean, a lot of people, they think, oh, it's the Upworthy podcast. It's just going to be sunshine and it's going to be unicorns. But you know what? It's really not that. Allison doesn't have the ability. She doesn't have it in her to actually be that person that I thought we were hiring when we did this show. But clearly, after just a couple episodes, the facade dropped. Okay? I thought, she's doing the Upworthy show. It's not going to be like, oh, neurotic, cynical Allison, but no, she's there. So, I try to counteract that with some of my good vibes.
I would argue that if one person is coming off as a little bit cynical and unhinged right now, it's not me.
It comes out every Saturday, wherever you get podcasts.
Bye.
Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone. Hi, hello. Welcome to another exciting episode of Allison Rosen is your new best friend. I am sitting here in my studio with my guest and Tony Thaxton. My guest is a wrestler, an interviewer, a YouTuber, but I don't think he embraces. I mean, kind of.
So derogatory.
Please put your hands together for RJ City.
Yeah, great. We're in person for the first time ever.
I know.
And
I saw wrestling.
No.
Oh.
Just this isn't about the show you went to.
I did see wrestling for the very first time last night, though.
Yeah, which we can get to because I have some,
comments.
choice words for you.
I know. I've already gotten a preview. I believe the preview started in the text to Tony, which he showed me. I know that you think you can steal Tony and have some kind of
without
voting
Tony,
block.
You would not be talking.
Yeah,
to me.
exactly.
Yeah.
What do you mean steal me? I was here first.
Yeah.
No, I know. But what I'm saying
in the
is,
passenger seat for this ride that Tony and I are taking through the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is,
okay,
what were your first impressions of seeing me as a human being in person?
Okay.
That's what I'm interested in because I've been told multiple times that I tweet smaller than I am.
Oh, interesting. I've seen your, as a YouTuber.
Yeah.
The YouTuber that you are. I've seen a lot of footage of you. So I think that I think that you were the same size as I was expecting, or maybe even a tiny bit smaller. I think I expected
gargantuan,
yes.
Paul Bunyan type.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Right. And then you were more normal human size.
Oh, all right. So I've now humbled my essence.
I mean, I feel like it's good.
Right.
You're lanky but compact.
Now, Daniel you're the height and the shape I thought you would be.
Is that a compliment?
It's a neutral.
Okay.
Daniel is taller than I thought he would be. I think because his Zoom setup where he does it, he's always kind of hunched over.
Yes.
Yeah.
How tall were you expecting him to be?
Well, that hunched over. I thought he was going to be hunched over. I didn't realize his posture was so good. I guess it's my ultimate point. I'm very impressed by him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He'll be thrilled to know. I think that he has been, and I'm glad we're getting right into the stuff that the audience wants to hear about.
Is this right?
No.
No? Okay.
I mean, I don't know. But I think that he has been having trouble feeling connected on Zoom.
Yeah.
So his hunch might be I am dying inside.
Sure. He's shriveling. He's
exactly.
wilting.
The life force is being sucked out of him, and it results in a hunched posture.
Do you want to tell people that we're doing a marathon session? Or is that going to ruin the illusion? Are you just going to pretend I'm here for 3 weeks in a row?
I mean, I think that you just told them.
Okay. We're doing
we are
3 podcasts
three
in a row.
podcasts. I know. Now, I was really pushing for 2, and
Yeah.
then if we're going to do a third the next day. But
Yeah.
you're like, no, let's just get it
Yes,
done.
let's get it done. We're in the zone. It's going so well already. Now,
You're right.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yesterday you came to AEW. Tony has been trying to get you to come for so long,
Yeah.
right? He wants you to respect the business as he does. And you did the opposite. You spit in the business's face. You said,
That was
"Hey, wrestling."
accidental. That was accidental.
But
Okay.
Here is my... Okay, say what happened.
No, I want to hear.
Regale everyone with your saga.
I want to hear your assessment of it.
Well, you wouldn't show up that late if you went to see Cats or the Phantom of the Opera. Like, where do you get off, I think, is my question.
Okay. First of all, the way it was presented to me was there's this show from 5 to 7. Like, there's the thing that happens before the show. I mean, if we're going to go a little further back, my understanding was the show started at 5.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, the show starts at 4.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, the show kind of starts at 3 or something.
Right. And you missed all of those, though.
No, I saw the end of the one that ended at 7.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, she literally got there about 30 minutes. She got about the last 30 minutes of Dynamite.
That's
That
the
was it.
best part. I saw the best match. I mean, I asked Tony Thaxton, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
How do you feel like this is going?
Oh, wonderful! I'm enjoying hearing all this because
Okay.
I lived through it and I was getting those texts of what was going on with you.
Oh my
and-
God,
and
the
we're all
parking
sitting there
saga.
Going, oh yeah, he's still not here, still not here, still.
But
not
you
here.
didn't show up to a planet like a pioneering explorer. Tony knows when to come and what to do. He's been
I
to
know.
plenty of shows before.
I even sent a super thorough, detailed email of everything going on.
I
And,
read it. Not only did Tony sent, and he called it possibly, quote unquote, the dorkiest thing he's ever done. He sent us an email with inline photos giving us the backstory of all the wrestlers.
Yeah.
So imagine, I mean, talk about a victim. Imagine how sad I was when I realized I was missing these matches that I really wanted to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my question is, why didn't you leave earlier?
Okay. So Daniel was getting slammed with work. And I said to him, let's try to leave by 3:30, which would have gotten us there by 5,
Mhm.
which now I know you're already thinking, like, why don't you want to get there at 3?
Why don't you want to get there, ideally, before the show starts so you can see the show start? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well,
You
now,
don't show
now
up
I
15
do.
minutes into a movie. You wouldn't do that, would you?
I mean, some
Seriously.
people do.
Yeah, but they're horrible people.
Yeah, I would have liked to see the show start.
Yeah.
I'm on your side.
You missed the pyro.
I know.
That's like...
I have been truly sad about this
Yeah.
and a little bit depressed and a tiny bit despairing and also sad, depressed.
I feel like
despairing.
this was your way to stick it to Tony. Because he's wanted you to come for so long. And then you're like, yeah, I came.
No. So what happened is Daniel was getting hammered with work
Yeah.
and he's like, I'm not going to be able to leave at that time. There was a moment where he wasn't even sure he was going to be able to go. And I was like, well, if that's going to the night before he said that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, if that's going to happen, try to give me a heads up.
Let's
Um,
make Daniel the victim here. Go ahead.
No, I'm the
What
victim.
a trooper.
No,
Thanks
I'm
for-
the victim.
Thank you so much for soldiering on
Are you thinking me or
to
him?
come to this wrestling show. Both of you, collectively.
Right. So then there was a moment where it's like, I could just go myself, which is obviously what I should have done. There's a lot of things about that I don't like.
Oh, you wouldn't be alone,
Yeah,
though.
you
Tony
would.
is there. I'm there.
I didn't know you were going to be there, by the way.
What do you mean? I said I would be there.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
I thought that once I realized, because Tony, who has my back,
Uh-huh.
shared some of the texts with me, that's where I was going before. Like, you think you guys have it, you don't.
No,
We
no.
do.
I don't shit on anyone behind their back that I'm not fully prepared for them to
Oh.
know about.
I do.
No, and then I've had to stand behind it. I've been caught in some bad texting situations where I have texted. I've been in group chats where I've texted something so horrible to someone that the third party will text me on the side and go, just so you know, like, they were in that. And I go, no, I know. That was for them.
Let's see the text.
Do you want to pull them up?
Between-
Well, Tony's the neutral party here.
Yeah.
Between you and RJ about me.
Like from like what during the show?
Go back as far as you feel is
Oh.
relevant.
There's really not there's not much here because I didn't remember ever even giving RJ my number. But then I got a text from a number I didn't know that just said, "Let me know when you get in and where you're sitting." And to which I replied, "Sorry, who is this, Art?"
A second slap in the face.
You never gave me your number
I know.
before.
I texted your email. It just came up.
Oh.
But I didn't know that was what you had done.
All right, read the text.
Yes, and then he says, "Correct. I'm hurt now, but regardless." I said, "You never gave me your number." I told him that me, my girlfriend, and our friend Pete, who edits the video for the show, will be there early. Not sure when Allison and Daniel will get there. And then this is when he said, "That would explain why this is your email address." To which I hilariously responded, "Who knew?"
Fun guy.
Yeah, just
the repartee is, oh my God.
I mean,
get a room.
Okay, so then we got there, and I texted, by the way, section 211, row 13. And Allison.
What time is that?
This is at, okay, yeah, that's key. This is at 5:20. So the show is 20 minutes in at this point. I said, by the way, section 211, row 13. And Allison is still 20 minutes away. And then RJ says, "She doesn't respect the business."
No.
And
You
then-
would get tickets to the Phantom. You would not be seated.
No, I wouldn't.
And then exactly 1 hour later, I texted RJ, "By the way, Allison's still not here." And he says, "The show ends in 40 minutes. Tomorrow will be a pip."
And is this not a pip?
It's a pip and
Oh
a
my
half.
God. Okay. So by the way, we're not releasing this, right?
Really, what are you talking
This
about?
episode.
No.
This is just, I'm
Yeah,
joking.
just for us. 'Cause
Yeah,
we have
okay.
so much fun doing this.
Okay. Let's see. And I will go back.
I find it amazing that she's doing 3 shows in a row today, and I knew enough to show up early. It's not that I came by myself, too. I didn't have anyone chaperoning me.
If you're
Yeah.
going to someone's house to do their podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
do you show up at the time you decided on, or do you show up early?
Truthfully, this is what I tend to do if I'm in that scenario. I will show up very early, but then I will wait to knock on their door until like the minute that I was supposed
You'll
to be
take
there.
a lap around
Yeah,
the block.
exactly.
Well, no, I got whole LA traffic. So I was going to come relatively. I was preparing for it. And then I was like, a half an hour early. I was like, that's too early. And I texted her. I'm like, oh, she's like, no, I'm not ready for you. I'm like, okay, great. And then I waited at the hotel till where the Uber said like 12:56. I was like, that's good. And then the Uber driver was like zooming, a regular Andretti. You know what I'm saying? And then I texted her. I'm like, I'm going to be there early. I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
Did she
Oh,
make
there
you
was
wait
a
outside?
Yeah, I waited outside. I sat on the stoop.
No.
Yeah,
I said
and
it was
threw
okay.
rocks down the street.
Okay. Let's see here.
Oh my God.
I know we're gonna have to tighten this up quite a bit. I'm trying to find the relevant.
There's nothing relevant other than you did not respect. And that's my thing about wrestling is that, remember I always said like wrestling has like a messaging problem?
Yes.
Like, why do you feel okay even showing your face that late? Because you would not do that at a movie. You would not do that at a play.
Well, I think given the way it had been explained to me, and I'm not trying to blame you, I got the sense that it's kind of like there's this and then there's this, and like almost like you kind of just I did say-
Hang on. I said that it's listed that it was going to be at 4. I was like, in my experience, when I've gone, those dark matches usually started closer to like 4:30. However, they started even earlier yesterday. I will say that. But I did say then the live TV taping is 5 to 7. It's like, it's live. It's literally live.
okay.
Yeah.
Look, I am super bummed about the way it all went down.
Yeah.
But
Well, because it's your fault. It's a reflection of you. Why wouldn't you be bummed?
my fault is that I said I'm going to go with Daniel because I don't want to drive myself to the forum and try to figure out parking myself and go into the venue myself. Like if I was going to Uber myself, then it would be fine. But I get stressed about parking, and like that whole thing felt very stressful to me. So I should have gone. It is clearly Daniel's fault. But then we were going to be there at like 5:30. You've already heard this story, so I'll
Yes.
just for the judgmental
Tighten
listeners.
it up for them, please.
Yeah. So then we get there, we get turned away from the parking lot. There's
Yeah.
no parking here.
'Cause you're
Park
late.
at
'Cause you're
SoFi.
late, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. park at SoFi. We go over to SoFi. You can't park here. You got to park back at the Forum. There should be spaces there. We're like, we just got turned away from. They go back. We went back and forth for an hour. Tony was telling me what I was missing. I'm the victim here. So we were finally, I said to Daniel, drop me off, which again, I should have done that right when we got there, which still was late. And I explained, I saw a couple parking spots and I talked to like a nice guy in the parking lot
great.
who they radioed and they agreed to let Daniel in. I mean, it was a whole fucking thing.
Did Daniel get his work done? Because I know he was.
No, he had to finish it when he got home.
Oh my God.
that sucks.
Wow. And you had nothing to do.
No, I had to finish some work too.
Okay, good. Well, at least everyone got their work done. That's the important thing.
No, he's still doing it. He's still doing his work.
He's slammed. The guy is slammed. And I got to see your cheese baby.
Yeah.
And I took credit for the cheese. I was like, hey, I'm the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
wouldn't have
don't
any
know that he
cheese
understood it,
if
but
not for, he will, because
one day.
years from now, I will message him and say, I'm the guy.
So anyway, I did the minute I got there.
Yeah.
Once I got in the seats, I was again very sad that I had missed. But like I want to impress upon you guys how disappointed I was, and I know it's my own fault. But I was like, it's just that feeling of like I've lost something I can't recapture.
Yeah, my respect.
I didn't know I had it before.
And I do think, and Tony, you can corroborate with me, there is something about being there before everything starts.
Yeah.
There's that little buzz in the air of like, ooh, and no one knows what's going to happen.
Oh, there
And
was
then
okay.
you missed out on that first cheer that sets the tone. And it's like going to stand up and hearing like that first laugh of like, oh, we're all together as a crowd. You know, you missed the camaraderie with thousands of people.
But I still experience camaraderie.
No, you didn't. You
Okay.
experienced camaraderie with maybe Daniel as people who don't respect time. That was the camaraderie you respected.
No. So I got there and I instantly was like, oh, I get it. I
will
actually
give her
get it.
credit. She was there a very short amount of time before she turned to me and said, I totally get it now.
Yeah. But that's like showing up to the Phantom, you know, with like 15 minutes left and go, wow, this is amazing. You're like, you do not understand what you're a part of.
Okay. Well, in my tiny sliver of the pie chart of understanding
Yes.
wrestling, I felt that I really did. I get that I missed out on so much. But I did feel like I get it now.
Good.
And I also, like, it was interesting seeing all the other people who were there. It was both Daniel and I were saying that we felt it was such a safe feeling crowd, despite the fact that it's like a very combative.
Well, because all the aggression is
Yeah.
expressed towards
Right.
the ring.
There was one guy behind us who yelled, twist his dick off. And then another guy over here was like, oh my God, that's great. Yeah, twist his dick off. So, I mean, that was fun.
And that's great because, you know, that would be no stupider than chanting anything else.
Yeah.
There's no reason a twist his dick off chant would be out of place at all.
Right.
You know? So, yeah.
Okay. Glad we got that out of the way.
Thanks
I feel like
for
it's
coming.
gonna.
I really appreciate it.
Okay. So anyway, listen,
Yeah.
I do have a question for you.
Oh,
I sent
God.
you a Christmas card,
Yes, you did.
and
Why was Lurch green?
I don't know. I mean,
little
I don't
weird.
know if he's doing the like.
He wasn't. Lurch was never green. He was like pale, like a Solomon Grundy, like a purple, like a cold purple at best.
I'm just realizing for the listener, it might be like a Christmas card. Why is Lurch on your Christmas card?
Yeah, because you guys are wacky.
I know.
And you sent your Halloween picture
Yeah,
as
we
a
did.
Christmas
I
card.
know. Wasn't this so good? Anyway, the point is this.
Okay.
I went to put a stamp on it,
Yeah.
and we had leftover Halloween stamps, and I put one that had a spider on it. And I actually was like, I can't do this. And I lifted it off and put a different one on there.
And
Had
I appreciate that.
I left a spider stamp on the card,
Mhm.
what would have
It
happened?
would have been on fire. I would have put it on fire.
How deep is the spider fear?
Did you hear it? Did you see the thing that me and David Arquette
Explain
our text
it, though.
exchange?
Yeah.
He likes to try to brighten my day. So he sent me a video of Harry Belafonte on the Muppet Show singing Deo,
I know the
bracket,
clip very well.
the Banana Boat song. And I wrote back, fuck you. I know for a fact that there's a Muppet tarantula in that because it's in the lyrics. Black tarantula.
Oh, right.
Which is horrific. And there's also why I'm frightened of bananas.
Tony is too.
I'm not frightened.
He just hates them. He'll
They're
never.
a lot. And I have that really on file. And I said, David Little, do you know? I know that. That's a spider video. And my brain went, okay, never again. Sorry, Harry Belafonte and perhaps Frank Oz. I'll never be watching this again.
So that's my question. How far reaching is the fight? Is the arachnophobia?
It's a conceptual fear. So even thinking about it or seeing something that resembles it, like a drawing or something.
Like a stamp.
I had to walk out of an amusement park with a girl I was dating, a woman I was dating. It was a dark ride, but it was a 3D thing. You get to shoot them. But it was a kids medieval themed. It was in the kids area. It was fun. And we're halfway in line, and they show you this little preview video of the monsters you'll be killing. And there's dragons, and there's spiders. And I was like, we gotta go. And they had they had happy faces on, but I was like, we have to leave. We need to go. So we faked some sort of emergency phone call.
You have to leave the whole amusement park, or just
the
that
line,
ride?
that
Okay.
line. Yeah, I was like, we cannot do this. So we had to walk past all these people, and they were, I faked a good. Oh, what? Really? Over there? We have to leave.
How did the woman feel?
She was with me before that a decent amount of time to
So
know what she
knew.
was getting into. Yet still not. She wasn't stunned, but she was like, really? Yes.
Have you had a bad experience? Is talking about it making you uncomfortable?
I have not had a bad experience. I also distinctly remember as a child doing a project on them. So at some point I wasn't afraid of them. I don't know.
When do you remember it setting in?
I don't know. I must have been I was out of grade school, maybe like in the older, maybe a 7th or an 8th grade when I really stopped and thought about it.
And what?
And then sometimes, though, I can frighten myself because I'll be looking at my cat and going, spider's hairy. It's frightening. My cat is covered in hair. Why am I not afraid of my cat? And then I start getting afraid of my cat.
Oh.
So I can really think myself into just total doom.
So it's the hairy aspect of the spider?
No, also the 8 legs, the 8 eyes. That shit is fucked up. That is beyond. And I was reading about arachnophobia and even people who are afraid of snakes. That it's so beyond our human comprehension. It's so alien. The fear is that I can't wrap my head around this.
Okay.
So.
Because I have I believe it's called musophobia.
Oh. You don't like Musso and Frank? You had a bad experience?
Yes, I did actually. Parking based. No. I'm not a fan of mice. Well,
Okay.
actually, let me rephrase this. If I see mice in a pet store or something, or someone has a pet mouse, or there's a ride where there's mice, I'm okay. But
what about a ratatouille?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually fine with mice and rats conceptually.
Right.
So it's not the same as yours. Conceptually, I'm fine. When I lived in New York, one of our apartments, we had a mouse problem.
Sure.
And I didn't have peace of mind for the entire time that it was going on. And I've mentioned on the podcast before, at one point I was like, what if I give them names? Because my sister lives in this apartment and she makes noise, so walking around, and it caused me to have a freak out. So what if these are just small furry roommates? And I gave them names, Chad, Rob, and Grover, and both Lowe's and then Grover. And it didn't help at all. It did not help at all.
Right.
But I've been trying to figure it out, what is behind that fear?
But I think that is just a disgusting, horrific experience, period, and that you don't have musophobia. And if you were afraid of a ratatouille, if you couldn't watch that movie, then I would go, that's a phobic. I think you had to legitimately.
I just didn't want mice in my house.
Yeah. No, I don't think anyone does. And I've had them, and then when I've had to, capture them or dispatch of them, it's horrifying. It's gross. I'm not normally afraid of them, but it is disgusting.
But my thing is
I think she's trying to play the victim again. Go ahead.
My thing is they're furry mammals.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike you, I like furry mammals. I think they're cute and sweet.
That's
and
a
like,
broad statement you're making, and I don't think you're thinking about all the furry mammals. Like otters are weird.
oh my God, otters are so cute.
No, have you had one like on the table and like held it and looked in its eyes? Like,
Have you?
well, I'm just saying, I don't think you've been up close to one.
Well, no, but
Yeah.
I appreciate
I
them
have,
from afar.
actually.
Oh, let's
they
find
were
out.
delightful. They were real cute.
They're
Went to a
up
place
there.
where you could kind of hang out.
Was
with
it in
the-
San Diego?
No, it was near Vegas.
Okay.
I forget what it was called.
Was it someone's backyard?
I mean, kind of. But yeah, they would they would come and like run all around you, walk on your
Come on.
shoes. and
Oh my
check
God.
you out. Yeah.
How you sound like you would not be up
This
for an
is-
otter experience.
Not really. Not that light social affair. You know?
What do you need? Like a heart to heart
I
with an
like
otter?
when they swim. Sometimes you hear them swimming on their
Yeah.
back, like behind glass.
Right.
Yeah.
And they hold little otter hands.
Yeah,
So
that
fucking cute.
routine. But
Yeah.
that also, I think we're humanizing them, and it's wrong. The
Well,
same way
sure.
we do with dolphins, and it
Mm.
really bothers me because they're always happy. It's like, no, they got smiles carved into their faces.
Mhm.
They can't not. They're
That's like
jokers.
ducks.
They're joker fish.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Leave these people.
We're humanizing them. Leave
Yes,
these people.
Leave them alone. I've seen them come to this resort and dance with the dolphins. I was
Yeah,
like,
no,
I don't
that's
know
not
what
right.
these dolphins think they're doing, but it's not dancing. You know, don't.
Right. I agree with that point. Just to wrap this up real fast.
Yes.
If there was a bird in my house, I would not freak out. Although I know people who would. If I'm like, oh, there's a rabbit in my studio, I'm not gonna be thrilled, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna freak out.
Yeah. But if it was a frightened rabbit, you're picturing a really nice, docile, chewing on a carrot. in the
Most
corner.
rabbits are frightened.
No, but if it was scurrying around here like a mouse would, you'd be like, get this rabbit out of here.
Well, I wouldn't. I mean, I want to hear what it has to say. I'd listen to its side.
Yeah.
You know, I'd put the rabbit cam on it, but. No, I think I wouldn't like want to jump up on a table and just be like, oh, I wouldn't.
Right.
It wouldn't cause the humongous panic
Mhm.
that if I saw a mouse scurry by,
Mhm.
that it would. And I don't understand what that is.
They
And
don't have any bones. I think that's weird.
mice don't have bones. Are you thinking of
Right?
sharks?
Maybe I'm thinking of squirrels. They can squeeze into like cracks.
Yes, they can squeeze. But I also here's what I think it is. I think it's fear that if you're not vigilant, they'll crawl up your butt.
So you don't trust them.
No.
But that's the fear. I had that same problem with like you go to Florida and there's like newts,
What is a
a
newt?
gecko. Like that kind of
Oh
thing.
yes.
And it's like this gecko, I feel like is here to fuck with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did
I-
something to bother it.
I'm not a fan of things that don't see you and
Mhm.
get you. And this is about people and mice and moths. Although moths don't bother me that much, but like the idea that this thing doesn't respect my boundaries and might just, like I said,
Yeah.
crawl up my orifice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
That's why I don't like being around super drunk people sometimes.
I'm going to suggest you just do Kegels.
I could keep a mouse out, okay? But I don't want to have to.
You just worry about keeping your door shut.
My doors are shut. Oh, speaking of shut doors.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a segment. Let me just check my notes real
Yeah,
fast because I
please.
do have some notes. Let's see. Where are we? My God, this is just flying by. So your alias got blown one time or multiple times?
Alias? Oh my God. Yes.
Do tell that story.
So when I go to Starbucks or any sort of outlet where you can give your name, I like to give a fake name.
because
Okay? Because I like to have just little fantasies of having different names. As a wrestler, obviously, that's I think half the appeal of being a wrestler. So I will often say I'm Doug. I'm getting a coffee by myself. Give me 5 minutes to be Doug. Not harming anyone,
right.
you know? And I get such intense joy when, so I'm waiting for my order and I just hear Doug and I get to go, yes. Like that, it's the best. It's my little slice of heaven.
Oh my God.
Is pretending to be a Doug. I don't know any Dougs. It's great.
I know a Doug.
Great.
Mhm.
I don't think there's that many Dougs anymore.
No.
Right?
Right.
It's a dying
It's
out
like Dick.
name.
I mean, no offense to Dougs. I'm just saying there's really no dicks.
Yeah. Although I feel like Doug is unfairly maligned because it's not likened to a penis at all.
Right.
That's
No.
why dick is out.
Yes.
That I understand. Right. Anyway.
Doug will have a comeback.
Yes. So I go to this outlet to get coffee. Blah, blah, blah. What's your name? Doug. And the woman behind the counter went, "Are you sure your name is Doug?" I went, "What? Yeah. And she said, "You don't look like a Doug. You look like an RJ."
Oh,
And
my
I was
God.
like, what? I was her sister's TA in high school. It's like drama class,
Yeah.
and I was helping out with the class, and then they knew me. So she knew who I was. And I had to lean in and just be like, "Look, this is like my little fantasy. You leave me alone. I'm not hurting anyone. Sometimes I like to pretend. It doesn't make a difference to you."
Right.
And then it feels like I was just
Yeah.
lying. She felt
Let
like
me
I was
live
lying
my
to
truth
her.
that's a lie.
Right. That was the first time it was blown. The second time it was blown, I was with my father, and he likes to participate in these games. He does not have the tools or the finesse to participate in them correctly. So they said, "What was your..." I guess I was out of my Doug phase. So they said, "What was your name?" And I said, "Simon."
Oh, wow.
Right? Another great name that I don't feel like I can ever be called unless I
Right.
have this control. Right? So, okay, Simon. And they looked at my father and they said, "What's your name?" And he went, Simeon.
Oh, my God. I am such a fan of your dad. Can we get him on the show?
Sure. So first of all, it's hard work to convincingly present a fake name.
Yeah.
But when someone asks you what your name is, and not only is your first response, but also to look up in the air and sort of go, "What is my name? I want to participate. This is a game. How are we playing this? What do I do?" And he looked up in the air, and then I guess all he was thinking of was Simon, and then thought, "Well, I can't say Simon because he said Simon."
He could be Simon Sr., but I get that in the moment it didn't occur to him.
Right. And that now I'm Simon and my father's Simeon. It's so stupid. He doesn't respect the fantasy. He doesn't adhere to the rules of the universe I've created. And I was so angry at him because then I felt like we were just mocking the barista.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like we were taking advantage like idiots who are like, "I'm Batman. You got to write Batman on the cup."
Right,
It's like,
right.
No, that's not why I'm doing this.
Right.
I don't want to harm anyone here.
Yeah.
This is just my sick Pleasantville where I'm Doug
Right.
or Simon.
I'm Mike Hunt.
Exactly. And that's really the grossest, most vulgar one you could throw out
There was
there.
another one I'm trying to reach for.
Amanda Hug and Kiss.
Not that one, but that's a good one. I feel like there's another one.
There's a few.
What are the other ones?
Well, I don't know. There's some wild ones like a hairy balsagna or something you can really take a walk with.
Yeah. No, I feel like there's another like very obvious one though.
Seymour Butts.
Mm-hmm.
A hero to some. No, what is the other one?
I get a little absurdist. When I was at the Paley Center in New York, back in the day, you used to have to the appointment to watch the shows you wanted to watch, you had to put your name in, whatever. And for whatever reason, I was with all my cousins, and I thought, I'm Frankish.
Frankish. Oh, how'd that go?
We've never laughed so hard ever. It was the best to just make this person, and they're so sweet and they're so serious. But it's their credibility that I'm lending, you know, for my moment to
Right.
be Frankish. Without them taking their job seriously, I'm nothing. You know, if they
Right.
didn't respect what they did,
It's really alchemy.
it is
Coming
alchemy.
together, yeah.
Yes, that I could sneak in and I'm Frankish.
So what happened with Simeon and Simon? Did it?
What happened? My dream was crushed, and I realized that, you know, I have to
Yeah.
exclude my father. Unfortunately, it was really hard.
And then also you were a TA for drama when you were in high school?
Yes. Yeah.
How was that?
Good. I think I was good. I think
But
I
is
was
that
helpful.
like for extra credit or
Yeah,
What
think,
was that
I think
for?
so, because we went to a drama high school. We were
Mm.
specialized, and we had it all the time. And then it was like, oh, you know this very well. And then I guess I was I don't know, 11th or 12th grade, and it was like maybe 9th or 10th, and I don't know, they did comedy and writing, and I just helped them with that. I guess I was just around. I'm trying to think about what I did, but I guess I was just around. I made enough of an impression that she knew my name wasn't Doug.
Right.
So that was impressive.
Did you have to audition to get into this high school?
Yes, I did.
What did you do?
This is what's so messed up, is that I went to a Catholic elementary school, which in Canada doesn't mean a private school. It's a public school, but they just teach religion. So it's not like you have to wear a uniform or anything. It's totally like a public school, except for weird religious stuff.
So they don't have the same separation of...
No. And it's also free
but...
in the sense that you don't have to pay for it. It's not.
Right.
It sounds fancy until you realize it's not. It's just the same. So when I auditioned, you have to give them your report card, and the drama teacher who was looking at it was Jewish, and in the religion section of my report card, it said, "Can identify the fruits of the Lord in other people." Don't put this mystical shit on my report card. Like, don't do that to people. Who is reading this that would be like, great? So, of course, he should call that out, rightly so, because he thought it was ridiculous. And it says you can identify the fruits of the Lord in other people. I said, I guess so. And he said, what do you see in me? And I said, I see a plum. And we left it at that.
That's funny.
Yeah. Thank you. And I think that got it. And then I had to do some horrible monologue that you think was serious, and then you get in, and they're like, yeah, that was stupid. We're sorry. We made you do that.
Oh, they assigned the monologue.
I think it's the board does.
Right.
Yeah.
Did other famous people go to this school?
Hayden Christensen?
Yes, I have heard of him.
Yeah. He went there. That was a big thing. And a guy from a show called Radio Free Roscoe. You ever see? It was like a Canadian. They hosted a radio show in high school. And I think that's it. Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But what does that school have to say for itself that it's only produced?
I'll tell you how few went there. When I went back years later to say hi to my teachers, they had some of my wrestling articles and pictures in their office.
Aww.
That's how few celebrities went there.
That's nice, though.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about being a big fish in a small pond.
Oh, and also a kid who did Franklin the Turtle. You know Franklin?
Yeah, vaguely, yeah.
He was like Arthur, but he was a turtle.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. That's so cool. And they're like, actually, it's not. When you're 13 and your voice changes, they kick you out. So he was like Franklin 32.
Oh.
It was a real depressing factory of Franklins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that show still around with its exploitative practices?
Sure. If you're going to constantly, carousel in children. Like
yeah.
That, yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Well, now we know more about your high school experience. Yeah. Okay, so listen, I have a segment that I haven't done in a while.
Oh no!
And it's a segment. It's called "How Dare You?"
Yeah.
It's where I have a list of
where people show up late to wrestling shows.
Okay, yeah. Let's go back to that for just a second. But don't let me forget that I was going to do "How Dare You," and I won't because it's sitting right in front of me. Okay, so I said to Daniel, "Is it like a faux pas to show up late?" What is that?
What does that mean? Why wouldn't it be a faux pas? Or you think it's like one of those hip house parties where you try to show up?
I mean, I almost think we should save this for the Thursday show.
Yeah, but let's make sure people tune out now.
Because Daniel's like, there are no faux pas at a wrestling show. He's been to wrestling before.
What? I think the whole thing is a faux pas.
And because he's like, listen, it's a show at 4:00 on a weekday in LA. They cannot expect people to show up on time.
Right. But it was a TV taping. If you're going to something live, if you go to the Golden Globes, obviously, it starts at a specific time.
No, I'm not
It was
saying
pretty packed at 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like there was like 12,000 other people that understood it. So you can't say like, oh, a wrestling show. There's no faux pas. Obviously, you seem to be the only two people who made said faux pas.
That's not necessarily true.
It was packed, Tony. Was it not packed?
Tony,
and there was just 2 seats, and I was going, why is no one sitting there?
Are you saying that we were the last people to arrive. You're 100% sure, both of you, that not one other person might have walked up.
I'm just telling you, the twist his dick off guy had no problem getting there on
I know, and he had
time.
his daughter with him.
Yeah.
Young. Well, I don't think twist his dick is employed.
So? You're gonna employment shame the guy? Shouldn't it be harder for him to get there if he's unemployed?
No, that's true.
Yeah.
He might be gainfully employed. I'd like to take that back. I
think you should apologize to twist your dick.
I'm going to let your apology be my apology.
Thank you.
I'm just saying this is Daniel's fault.
Yeah. Okay.
And I won't forgive him for a long time.
You're married to him. You decided to go with him, and this is the Viking ship you've decided to sail on. I don't know what to tell you.
I legitimately feel bad. I was bummed out last night. I went to sleep thinking, tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
where you're
sleep.
confronted with the horrible choices you made.
Unfortunately, I will be seeing someone who's not going to let it go. But no, I really did. I felt bereft.
Good. The best part
I was
is
grieving.
that I'm offended, and I wasn't even on the show. I wasn't even like,
Again.
you missed my solo. I
Again.
don't.
Again, for some reason, I thought you were not going to be. It doesn't make sense now that I think about it, but I didn't think you were going to be there.
Right.
I thought that you film your stuff like at the hotel or something like that.
I do. I filmed it in the morning
Right.
at the arena. The
Right.
time difference messed us up.
Yes.
We can only do 3 episodes, and it was a whole thing. Anyway, I was on time for my stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so I have a segment called How Dare You that I used to do where I ask really intrusive questions of the guest, and then you can either answer or you can say, how dare you?
Okay.
And then I was thinking, it was one of those things where I was like, why did I stop doing this segment?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever have the thing, this is kind of a just me or everyone, where you're like, there's a thing you're eating like a lot.
Yeah.
And then where
Some
you've
relatable stuff. Yeah.
you've had
How
that-
dare you? Yeah.
no, this is not how dare you yet. This is an analogy.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, why did I stop with that? I was into that. This is like that.
Yeah.
Except there's things that I've enjoyed eating more than I enjoy this segment. Don't worry, it's really fun though.
Okay.
But so anyway, I think the reason that I stopped doing it is because when you really get down to it, I'm not comfortable asking deeply personal, intrusive questions of my guest. So this will be fun.
Okay.
Now, I like to start with saying on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like extremely private and 10 being an open book, where do you place yourself?
Just in general in life?
What are the options?
I'm saying in this context.
Both.
I would give myself like a 9. And I think the only thing
Really?
The only thing
I was
that
going to put you at a 7.
Okay, put me at a 7. I'm not upset. I think the only thing that stops me in certain instances is perhaps, I don't want to say incriminating, but mentioning other people and bringing them into a situation.
Right.
If it's just me in my own life and there's, no other victims, then I feel like I'm open.
Okay, so that's in general.
I think so.
But you had another option of like, if for this, where do you place yourself?
Well, I was asking it was a poorly phrased question.
Okay. Remember that. All right, so I think what we're going to do is I'm going to hand you the list.
Okay.
And then you can read the question. You can choose what you want to answer.
Okay.
Do we?
Oh, we have a song.
I'm happy to be on the show. Ask me anything you want to know, and I'll be sure to. What? How dare you?
Is that you doing the How Dare You guy?
That's not me.
Who's the
No.
How Dare You guy?
That is Tom Rapp, a.k.a. Trap Dog,
that's
who's
great.
done all the music for the show, except for now I have Tony doing some stuff,
Yeah.
and it is amazing.
I want to
and
meet
that
the
is
How
amazing.
Dare You guy. Are you familiar with Rocko's Modern Life?
No.
Oh, it was a Nickelodeon cartoon. They had a woman he would keep running into by accident, and she would, how dare you? It was wonderful.
Is he doing that?
I don't know. Is he the How Dare You guy?
No, but I'm saying, does it sound like the way
I think
he said
he's
it?
perhaps inspired by it.
Okay.
I don't think I'm not
No.
accusing him of stealing
No.
the How Dare You,
Right.
because I don't think they invented How Dare You either.
But I mean, it just could be like a nod to a thing that I didn't know it was a nod to.
Right. All right. Okay. I think I can do most of these.
Okay.
Do we have to go in order? Right.
You choose. Pick at random.
Let's do all of them.
So
I
they're-
want to defend my 9. I gave
Okay.
myself.
They're segmented by category.
Yeah, I see. Sex. How did you lose your virginity? I was in the 10th grade, maybe. and I had planned on doing it maybe with someone who also was losing their virginity, and we could maybe do it together. And we had talked to, you're just excited to like, oh yeah, we trust each other. That would be a great idea. And then
You guys were going out.
no.
Oh.
This was like someone I would see like every summer. And I was like, that's a good time to do it in the summer, and you don't have to deal with it. And I was dating someone at the time, and she sat on it, and I went, "Excuse me."
That's it?
Yeah, and then I went, that whole fantasy of what I had, up in my head, what I was planning on was just, and I was like, oh, and she wasn't a virgin, the woman I was dating.
No,
You
she
can't-
sat on it.
Can't just,
Yeah.
double
Sorry.
cross.
Hang on.
Go ahead.
There's many questions.
Yeah.
So you're dating someone,
Yeah.
but you've got this plan.
It was a long-term plan that I threw out there once and said, hey, that would be a great
Right.
idea.
So, but it
And
wasn't
I had
like
that, but I
exclusive
had that locked
with
in
this.
my head. No.
Okay.
And that was just, and then it was because the woman took my virginity.
But-
I said, well, I got to really keep dating this person now. Yeah. Go ahead.
You were completely caught off guard?
Yeah, in terms of the sex was not discussed. There was other things going on. I wasn't disrobed without my knowledge.
Right.
But yeah, and also I distinctly remember, and this tells you what a fun kid I was. I had like a mixed CD playing, and one of the theme songs on it was the theme from Doug, and that's what played. That's what I lost my virginity to.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. How many partners have you had? I'm going to say I don't know, which sounds like so many, but I don't. I would say no more than 30.
So between 20 and 30.
More than 10. I would say between 15 and 30. And I feel like it's probably closer to. And when you say partner, you mean I have to have intercourse with them in the standard way. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What's the non-standard way?
Well, I don't know. People say partners with
Oh,
that could
yeah,
mean
yeah.
anything,
No,
you know?
I mean.
Right? So I would say for that, what you're thinking, the real meat and potatoes of it. Yeah, I would say somewhere between 15 and 25.
Okay.
Right?
Could you sit down and make a list?
Yes. And I have before, and I've ended up with, I've ended up with that. So I would say nearing probably 20.
All right.
Let's say 20.
That
sounds okay.
You are down the line 9.
Have you ever had a threesome? No. It's been discussed before. It's really just seems like a lot of work.
There's so many limbs.
But even socially, it seems like just a tremendous amount of, stuff has been thrown out and discussed. And then it's always those, you also don't want to play in it.
Right. You should just find yourself in a pile of bodies.
Right. And I'm not leaving the house. So it's not really happening.
Right.
But I'm happy that I know people that we could have. At least
was it discussed like it jokingly or discussed like, hey, maybe we should all do this?
Oh, it was like, would you be interested if we did, Wasn't, I don't think we will, but is that something you're in? Is that whatever? Oh yeah. I would. Okay. It was like that. It's like, well, wasn't like, yes, it was like, oh yeah, sure. Yeah. But then logistically it was just not.
But then
happening.
did you see them a lot after this?
No.
Because, okay. Did you ever see them again?
Yeah. But not in an appropriate setting. And you also don't want to be like, hey, let's have a threesome. Like that would be the worst thing.
I would pass someone a note, threesome with a box, and then yes, no.
But then if they say no, it's like the worst piece of paper in the world.
That's you have to burn it.
Yeah.
Like the stamp with the spider. Because like maybe this is revealing too much about me. But if I had laid the groundwork or the groundwork had been laid and I had consented to it with people ahead of time about the threesome thing, what?
So I was just going to say, I don't even think we got to laying the full groundwork.
Well, no, because that would mean like location.
And that's also, I would say, the difficult thing. At one point should be spontaneous. And if it's there, it's there. The other time, you guys all better sit down and talk about the rules here. That is very important, I think. You have to have a really non-sexual conversation about it, I think.
Right.
To not, blow up
What,
any
like who gets to
minefields.
do what?
If there's stuff that people don't like or don't want to do, or or if it's not working for people, and how do they leave? You know what I mean?
There's this band, the Giraffes, that I was super into in New York, and they have this song called After the Orgy, and there's this line, I guess we just put our clothes back on. I think it's funny, though.
Yes. Yeah, it's just a difficult, it's a lot to manage
Yeah.
for everyone.
But so anyway, I feel like if I had because it sounds like it was not joking. It was a sincere conversation with people
Yeah.
about a potential threesome down the road
Yeah.
that then didn't happen.
Yeah.
Every time I saw them, all I would be thinking is, I agreed to a threesome with these people. And I'm not saying I'd be like raring to go.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it would be front. Like there are
I
people.
don't think they agreed to it, though. I think we communicated that we would be open to it. Oh my God, we should
That's
work
the
on a
same
project
thing.
together. Yeah, absolutely. And then if nothing comes up, nothing comes up. You know?
That's not the same.
We
Tony,
should go have a coffee. We should go have a coffee. And then you don't say when, you don't say where, you don't have a coffee.
well, I guess I just drink a lot more coffee than I have threesomes.
Right.
So for me, it would be so like, because like there are guys that I've had crushes on in my
Mhm.
life. And for the most part, every time I see them, 25 years later, I'm just thinking about like, I used to like that guy.
Yes. I've thought about that too. No, but that's a thing where I'm like, I think the threesome is casual enough in a sense where it's like, and if not, also no big deal. I like this person, period. I don't want to have a relationship with them, like a one-on-one thing. I think that's different.
Right.
This is a cavalier. This is like a pool party kind of feel.
yeah,
you
I
know?
mean,
the pool is open. If you want to hop in, you hop in. If not, the pool's there. What do you want from me?
So, okay.
Yeah.
I think I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
I think I would feel maybe, I mean, clearly I have hangups, but I think
Yeah.
I would feel like embarrassed that like, why are we not threesoming?
Right. No, but but you can't throw it out like a hard, this is going to happen thing. It's like a thing. And I'd be open if it
Like we
happens, it
should go
happens.
to, like I would love to go to Tahiti.
Yeah, sure. No, that requires money and scrolling and things.
I don't know what kind of threesomes you have. Okay, go on.
Have you ever had sex in public? Define public.
Well, you tell me what you think you've done
Like
that qualifies.
The woods,
Was anyone else around?
the trees,
So
the
no
animals.
people.
I don't.
There
to
could have
my
been otter.
knowledge-
There could have been otters.
To my knowledge, no.
Okay, that still counts though.
Okay, so I would say that's a public. It's a public place.
Yeah.
You know.
But I thought you hate nature.
Yes, but I was with a girl who had taken my virginity without me agreeing to it, and
And then
sent me down a horrible path. Yeah, no, I had. You end up with them. How I can think of no sex that would be worth having mosquito bites on your legs. Yeah, really. I would be with you if you said, I promise, if you date me, you'll have no mosquito bites. I'd be very interested. Money. What's the most you've ever spent on a single item? I don't know. I'm thinking of things that are like $1,000.
Mhm.
I'm thinking I must have spent more. And you've excluded a car. which
Yeah,
is
because
like,
that's
okay,
what
yeah,
everyone's
yeah,
most
yeah.
expensive
I
thing.
understand
Car
how
or
this
home,
works.
yeah.
I would say I spent an inordinate amount of money on like my first headshots. I was
Oh.
all in. I was like, let's make this work and let's do it right. And I saw a stack of them. And I was going through some old stuff and I was like, oh my God, these are all horrendous.
Oh, you didn't like how they turned out?
Well, I was doing shots to be people that my agent thought I could be. And the answer was no.
Like what kind of people?
Like a detective, like a cop drama detective, the person who you think I could be until I opened my mouth.
And then what came
And
out?
they go, this guy talks about Don Knotts. No
Well, you could have a
police station
script.
wants to work with this guy.
You could be the zany detective.
No, because my words still sound like I want to talk about Don Knotts without me saying it.
And how much did you spend on those?
Over $1,000, probably
And this is
two.
Canadian.
Like with everything total, it was probably like $2,000, which feels like a lot for what that was. It just
Right.
sticks out in my mind as like that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it was me going, let's make the best of it, and I shouldn't have done that. Have you ever shoplifted? Yes, I had a very bad. I would be a snacker. You go to the grocery store, a
Oh.
bulk foods thing.
That I don't know that counts as shoplifting.
I had once. There was these protein bars that I enjoyed.
Oh,
and I
this
liked
does
having
count.
2 of them, and they were very expensive. And this is how brazen I was. Is that I thought I'll pay for one, but I will eat the other one in the store, and I will give the cashier the wrapper to throw out. And they just throw it out, and I don't pay for it, and then they pay for the one, and that's it. It's a pretty good system, huh? Because it was so brazen. Why would
Why
a
would you
thief
do that?
give me the item they just
Oh.
stole, right? They dispose of the evidence. It was the perfect plan.
It's the perfect crime.
Yeah.
So you were presenting it like I found this trash,
No, I ate it. It's garbage. Do you have a garbage can? Oh, yeah, sure. And they
but
would
like
throw it out.
like it wasn't from the store. Like you'd already purchased it.
Right.
That's what you're thinking there.
Yeah, I didn't say, hi, I bought this, but I was finishing eating it. They probably thought, oh, this is from the last time he was here.
Right. He wore that shirt in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you shaking?
Yeah, a little bit. It was a lot. And then
What part was a lot?
It was
like,
just
a lot, like how bananas
Well,
are a lot.
you enjoy a snack, but then you're also sweating the whole time. I said I have to stop.
Did you do this for the thrills?
No, I did it because I did not want to spend that much money on
How much were
protein
these?
bars.
What
They were
kind-
like over $5. It was ridiculous.
What kind of
did not-
protein
I was in
bars
high
were
school.
these?
I did not have
Oh.
enough. A lot. I did have enough money, but not enough that I was comfortable spending it on.
Right.
that.
No, you were saving up for your headshots.
Yeah.
Your disappointing headshots.
Yes.
But
It was an unjust price to me, and in my warped mind, I thought
Yes.
I'm writing the system here.
right.
Yeah.
It's Jean Valjean.
Mm-hmm.
You had your reasons. So,
1 bar more.
but could you not have just carried the wrapper out with you?
Sure, but I don't know if it would set off an alarm. But I thought they're disposing of the evidence in-house. The cashier is.
Right.
It was like the perfect. It was very Thomas Crown affair of like, aha,
Can we just
so clever.
just examine for a moment the idea that you walking out with the wrapper would set off an alarm?
I don't know how
What
these
kind
things
of
work.
tags do they have in their wrappers?
There's barcodes.
Right.
I don't know how that works. I don't want
Yes,
to take
right.
the risk.
This brings me to something, and maybe this is again more group show, but this
Yeah.
has a group show vibe.
Yeah, you hear with Simon and Doug.
Okay. Growing up, we would take Scantron tests.
Mhm.
Do they have these in your Catholic high
Yes.
school? Okay. Now you can
I
only
didn't
use
go to Catholic high school. I went to Catholic elementary school. I need to.
Oh, and then you went to secular drama school.
Yes.
Yes.
Very secular.
Okay, so you could only use a number 2 pencil.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding of that was the Scantron machine is so finely calibrated that it only reads number 2 pencil. You stick a number 3 lead in there, number 1, you're fucked. It like somehow it's like a lock and key mechanism.
Right.
It is programmed for number 2.
Yeah.
I believed this all the way up until the other night when I was thinking about it. And I was thinking, that's insane. There's no way Scantron technology somehow linked up with number 2 pencil technology.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, it's probably more crude than a voting machine where you can use black or blue pen. Why were we all told that we had to use number 2?
It
Like,
was so
you had-
threatening the way they did it. And then I would be neatly filling in the circle.
Yeah,
Like,
you can't get it outside the
The
line.
machine's going to go, what a great job this guy did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then the sloppiest kids would do a horrible job and they would have some other no-name pencil or whatever, and it would be just fine. And they never questioned it.
I mean, like the stress of taking your SATs with a number 2 pencil.
Yeah.
It had to be number 2. Tony, you're being awfully quiet.
No, I do remember this being a thing, but I remember always thinking, what are other pencils?
There are number 3 are harder. So the higher the number, the harder the lead. Number
that old
1
expression.
Yeah, that's where it comes from. Yeah. So number 1 is like you don't have to press that hard, and it'll blow up a Scantron machine. Evidently, I don't know. Okay, back to this list, please.
Oh, yes, back to the list. Have you ever cheated on someone? Yes. Have you ever been cheated on? Yes. Do you have any follow-up questions in that area?
I do, but you're
Okay.
racing through, which
Well,
makes me
I'm
think
just
you don't
saying,
want to
yes.
talk
No,
about
no, no.
it.
Go ahead.
So what were the circumstances where you cheated on someone?
Just bad. I was cheated on first.
Oh.
I was in high school, and and then I'm doing it with an agenda. You know?
A grudge cheat.
It's a whole thing. Yeah.
How did you find out that you had been cheated on?
It went around.
Oh,
Yeah.
around the drama school.
It went around the school, yes. Yeah, the lockers were whispering.
And then you cheated.
Yeah.
Did the person you were cheating with know that this was a plan to get back at your girlfriend?
No, maybe. No, I don't think so. It was a liberal time. That was
What,
a
the
very
70s?
liberal school. Yes,
Was it really?
Yeah.
Was it libertine?
it was very libertine. It was wantonness.
Amoral.
It was
unscrupulous.
very happening and very loose in terms of partying, and there's a lot of stuff going on that's perhaps beyond our years. But I'm so thankful for it, because when I got to university, that was totally out of my system.
I'm realizing there's a whole chunk in there that should be like drugs and illicit substances
Yes.
and stuff. I have.
This is why that segment never worked before.
I know. I missed out on it. So you were a fast teen.
Yes. I don't know if I myself was a fast teen. I was in a fast school, because they were teens that were faster than the school, and they didn't end up so well. We don't know what happened to them. There's a couple of those, but the school in general, but also very welcoming and inclusive, and
Well,
in terms of-
druggies always are.
yeah. But even from the administration, I would say it was just a lenient place. They were very, just be safe, kind of.
No, I think I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, but a good way to get it out of your system.
Right. So I should almost qualify this.
Yeah.
I don't know if high school counts really.
So
So post high school.
5 of my answers are like,
No. Sorry. High school counts for cheating.
yeah.
Well, no, it
That
does,
was-
because
that
it
was a
still
big-
hurts.
It was
Yeah.
very like, that was, yeah.
I'm gonna say I go back on that. It does count. Okay.
Yeah. You're writing off young minds and young
I know.
hearts.
No, for a sec, because I was thinking of it with my mom brain,
Sure.
just like that big.
Yes.
I was thinking like they're kids, but then I was remembering no everything is incredibly painful and real at that
I
age.
saw a picture of all the kids, like when I was in like first day of high school or something. They all took a picture, and I felt grossed out, because to me they look like 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
And I knew what we were up to, and I was like, oh God, no. It's so bizarre. It's so
Yeah.
strange. But it was a nice time. Have you ever been proposed to someone? What? Have you ever proposed to someone or been proposed to?
Did I write that?
No,
And
that was my fault.
okay.
No. And so much so that I think it's ended a few relationships.
Oh,
Yeah. It was just not. I mean, ultimately, the answer was just not the right person to be with, I guess. Not that I have to marry at all. I'm not interested in it. I know plenty of people who are not married and are very happy. So, no, I haven't. But I felt the heat. It was someone I was with, and their sister was older. And she was then they were playing this tit for tat catch up game. And I'm like, I have no interest. I'm sorry. I don't want any of this.
that is like relationship poison.
Yeah.
I would
Having
think, to
said
feel that the person is they're just trying to get married versus like they're so in love with you that they want to marry you.
Right. Yeah. Ultimately, I'm that person who's like, oh, yeah, he's joking around, but then it's like, but then when push comes to
I don't know
shove,
what any of those sentences are.
he'll want to have a child at some point. He
Oh,
doesn't
that's
want
what-
to now. He'll want to get married
That's
at
what-
some point.
Oh, that's what everyone thinks about you.
Yeah, that's that I can change him kind of
Yeah.
deal. And it's like, no, I want to talk about Don Knotts all the time. Like, this is it. Sometimes they look for the other layer, and no, you're at the bottom. Surprise. But yet she's found somebody. She got back together with the person she was dating in high school.
Look at that.
Who, may I say, did not wander very far. He was skulking. He was skulking around. And they're married.
What does that mean? He lives near the high school?
He was waiting for the relationship to end.
Oh,
I
I
wasn't
see.
accusing him of any crimes. And they have a kid. They have a kid now, and they're happy. And it's like, that's what you wanted.
Good.
And me, here I am doing 3 podcasts in a row, and this is what I wanted. So it worked out well. Worst thing you've ever done?
So this is now the listener questions, right? Oh, no, that's my question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to define worst.
No, it's how you define worst. Well, I think also on there is biggest regret. So
Yeah. Worst thing you've ever done. Trying to think of something that was like, if I ever like defaced someone's property or some sort of
Or like
crime.
hurt someone in a way that you feel bad about.
Yes. Yes, I absolutely have. There, you know what? And can I group that in with greatest
Yes.
regret? There is a friend we had in high school who is going through mental health problems, and we were not aware of we did not have the tools to understand that at the time. And I feel very bad about that we didn't perhaps help the person when the window was there for us to, not that we knew.
Is this person still around?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Everybody's still alive. And I still talk to the person. I wish we could have been a better friend to him, that we had the capacity for that.
How you were in high school though?
I
you
was in
said?
high school. This only
Yeah.
happened in high school.
No, but what I was just gonna say, not that you're asking for this,
Yes.
but I just feel like go easy on yourself. You were in high school.
Sure, well, it's a regret too.
Yeah.
And I feel bad, and I feel like that was an opportunity to help someone.
Right.
Not that I consciously looked at him and I was some
Yeah.
sort of therapist and said, no, never mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? I also, I think that we could have been better. And then sometimes, I had a very trivial regret with a former guest, Colt Cabana.
Oh.
I haven't texted him, and I felt like I should text him and just be like, hey, what's going on? And it's been a long time. The last time we texted is after he did your podcast,
Mhm.
and he said I was like Stephen Wright, and I made some sort of text joke about that. And then I felt too much time has elapsed for me
Because
to
he
regularly
went through
text
some
him.
stuff.
Yeah, but also I just haven't seen him.
Mm.
I don't have to have sit and commiserate with anyone.
Right.
I just like to know what's going on. And and then I saw him at the show, and I was like, hey.
Last night?
Yeah.
He was there?
Maybe if you showed up on time.
Wait, for real?
And there's pictures backstage. I don't know why you didn't know. Anyway,
Aw.
I was like,
I was
hey.
just thinking.
And then I
about
did the
him.
worst thing of like, I, just so you know, have intended to text you. And then I haven't, because I felt like it was so long that you would have been like, what is this person texting me for? And I was just projecting my neurosis, because that's something I would have done. And he was like, no, why would I do that? My texts are always open. And now I don't know if I should
Aw.
text him. I've aired it here. Now he's going to be listening to this. I'm sure someone will tag him and say,
Right.
RJ really wants to text you. I
Yeah,
feel like I've just
maybe
made
you
it
should.
worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, sorry. What was he doing there?
I don't know. I don't ask people what they're doing.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. No,
He
I know
was,
you don't
he was
text them.
filming stuff, or I don't know. He's backstage.
Now I'm so
What are you
bummed.
doing there? Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, wow. I didn't know he was in town. Okay. Well, look, it's not like I had backstage pass. I wouldn't have seen him anyway.
No, you didn't
Had I
show
been
up
on.
on time to get one. You're not going to show up with 20 minutes left and say, is there anyone here backstage? Hey, ever committed a crime? Well, I guess that was theft.
The protein bar.
Yeah, that was pretty clear theft.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done anything else. I mean, are we counting traffic violations?
Probably not. Did you regularly park where you shouldn't?
No, I don't think I did anything that was too wantonness or illicit. Ever got caught masturbating?
Again, these are listener submitted now.
Yeah.
Not specifically for you.
to me. There's just some pervert who wants everyone's masturbation stories. There's been close calls, but I don't think I was caught.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, as a child, I think you learn the boundaries of, space and yourself and other people in the house. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm sure it was known I was masturbating at some point without me even knowing that anyone else knew, as I assume most children. And Tony's laughter is telling me that's a common experience.
Mhm.
What is the experience of feeling like?
Well, I think you're so in the throes of passion that you might not be aware of, what other people can hear or
Yes.
what's going on.
Yeah.
Or,
That
sure,
makes
I'll
sense.
keep the
That makes
volume on
sense.
one bar. That'll be fine. All of a sudden, it's silent. You're blasting Don Knotts, and then all of a sudden, everything else is silent.
Mm.
Meanest thing you ever did to someone? What is something mean that I did? Oh, yeah, this is pretty mean. And this is also, I guess, theft. Prom. This is the end of high school. I got all my shit done.
Yeah.
I think.
Now you're just
Um,
coasting.
Prom, we went to somebody's this girl offered up her father's cottage as like the place to have the party afterwards and stay there for the week. And it was amazing. Okay, great. We're like the first car that got there. So which is the best and was our goal. So we could pick where we wanted to sleep, you know?
That I would have been on time for.
Yeah. See,
The
if there
stress-
was a bed backstage,
Oh my God.
you would have been there at 3.
Oh my God. If I were ever on one of those, the only thing I think at the first episode of Real World every season is like,
Yeah.
how do they decide who gets what room? Because I would not be okay if they're like, you can take this shitty room.
Right.
It's very important to me to have a good.
So I got
Situation.
there in this cottage, and I'm checking it out like you would a hotel, basically.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to me, I had chosen the erotic paraphernalia room.
In her dad's cottage?
Yeah, the guy had a little bit of a sex cabin. And first it was
Oh.
like those erotic playing cards, like from the 90s.
Right. Like novelty,
Yeah.
silly stuff.
And you're like, okay. And then you look, and then there's like a drawer of like VHS porn. And you're like, what? It was like every drawer got weirder and weirder. And then there was, I don't want to say it's a dildo, but it was a large vibrator. It wasn't,
But not
it wasn't
penis
like
shaped.
totally penis shaped.
Okay.
It could have been
Right. But
You know,
phallic.
phallic, and that's clearly what it was used for. And, you know, of course, we made a lot of fun and whatever, and I took it
Oh.
because the joke was, we place it in people's bags, and this thing would keep making appearances. It was very Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants kind of thing, right?
Have you seen that movie?
No, I got the gist, though.
Okay.
Um,
It's very sad.
So, first of all, I was told that the father said, no one afterwards, said, your friends, you can't come over anymore to the cottage because, this is the best, quote, someone took something. Why are you leaving that in the drawer? Why would you open that? If you have a sex den, don't invite all these miscreants
Well,
over.
that's the whole story is kind of stunning in that regard. That
Right.
he offered up this cabin and he has a sex dungeon.
Right. And then we put it in my drama teacher's tissue box in his car underneath Kleenexes, with the goal being that his wife, because he didn't seem like a guy that would blow his nose or cry or anything, but his wife would eventually, years later,
Yeah.
I don't know how it takes you to go through a box of tissues, and then she would get to the bottom and go, what heavy thing is in here? And we had written his name on it.
Did you ever find out what happened?
Yeah, apparently no one uses the tissues in the car. And it was, months and months and months and months. And then we were just like, what's the deal? And he's like, I don't use these tissues. And we're like, all right, well, there's a dildo in there with your name on it. Yeah.
This was your drama teacher, you said?
Yeah, but it was in a
Right,
it
because
wasn't
it's a
mean-
happening school.
It was a, yes.
Okay.
Yep. It was happening. Celebrity who is secretly horrible. Well,
Now, I mean, the intention would be that it's someone that you've had an exchange with.
Well, I had a very public. I went public with the exchange when I was a child. I was
yes.
in grade school. That hockey player blew me off for an autograph, and I was so crushed and so upset. And he's still. Peter Forsberg is a piece of shit. I have no problem looking him in the eye, which no one will ever tell him. So yeah, it's not secret. Celebrity who is secretly awesome. I feel like there was a lot of wrestlers who had a reputation for being an asshole or whatever. And then, I would work with them and they were really nice. And then I went, am I an asshole? And it's just two assholes getting along. Like, did I do something different?
Right.
And I had to do that very well, he was always nice to me. Oh, I like that guy.
Like who?
There is a guy, and I don't even want to name his name because I feel like I'll just dredge it
Okay.
up. But not well liked publicly. Very difficult to work with. That's what has been said. So I went into this match going, oh, gee, this is going to be a headache. And it was a difficult match. It was hard. It was a lot of work. But I did it. It wasn't anything beyond the pale. And then afterwards I get to the back and he blows past. Like I go to say, hey, was everything? And he just blows past me. And I went, all right. I heard this guy was an asshole. He was an asshole. I broke even. 5 minutes later, he comes back, and it's a very long locker room, and he's making a beeline towards me. And I'm like, he's a guy who just like is always intense, looking and talking, and can't not be intense.
Would we know who this is?
Tony would know who it is.
Okay.
If
If I had gone last night, would I know who it is?
No, he wasn't on that
I'm
show.
joking.
He's not anyone who's
Yeah.
remotely connected to anything I'm doing now. But he was making a beeline towards me, and he was walking so long that the area was so large that in my head I'm going, look, I don't know what his problem is, but he's going to just yell at you about whatever, and that's it. It's over, and just deal with it, and whatever. He walks up to me, and he shakes my hand, and he goes, hey, man, thanks. You deserve this. And there was $50 in his hand. And I was like, shit. I was anticipating you being an asshole, and now I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? I mean, it was very sweet of him.
Yeah.
And then you don't know how to reconcile those things.
Right.
When people... And then he's done...
What's his angle? That's what I would think.
What is his... Well, I mean, what else is he going to get from me? He got everything he wanted already. Well, yeah. But no, he's done some... He has unscrupulous views, shall we say.
Okay.
Publicly. And that shit is bad.
Mm-hmm.
But then before that, he gave me $50.
Right.
So I always consider his point of view.
Yeah. No, like Hitler left a nice tip.
Well, for that waiter, No, that guy's... But he didn't. There's no way he tipped anything.
Well, not in Europe where it's included.
See?
Yeah.
And that's a historical podcast for another day. What was your first heartbreak? I had a family friend who always, and we were the same age. We went to kindergarten together, and then our mothers became friends. And she was always, I love him. I'm going to marry him when I grow up and whatever. She just fucked with my head constantly for years and years, and be like, you what? Your family loves me. I am a talented child, and you're palling around with these bums, quite frankly.
So you liked her?
Yeah, but she would do this, and then be my friend, but then not, and then dating this guy. They were horrible looking boys, grade school boys, just really the worst. And then I got hot. By those standards, I had to go glow up, which was not a term then,
right?
And then it was like, fuck you. I wanted to keep that. That you don't mend that heartbreak. You already made your choice.
She came back around.
Makes your choice. She texted me a couple days ago. Let's go. She has a husband. She has kids. She wants to maintain. She wants to have lunch and what? And then we did have lunch a while ago. We're all family friends, but she was like, "Why didn't we do anything?"
What'd you say?
Because you're a fucking idiot. I don't know what to tell you. I was available. I was, humping couches as a teen boy. I didn't have many standards. It was all you. So
Did you
she
tell
has
her that?
to deal with that. Yes.
What was her reaction?
Well, laughter and frustration. I don't think she was frustrated. She's happy.
Right.
The guy, I'm going to cause a rift. No one's listening to this. That's a family friend. I don't send this to people.
No, I've got a huge listenership. Your
Okay.
family and all of your family friends are... No, you're probably okay.
Yeah, which is great. But yeah, no, she messed it up. I even helped her father move. I was a good person to these people. Yeah, that was all on her.
Right.
All on her.
I'm just saying, so she didn't give you the what? But I didn't know.
No.
She
was like, why didn't we do stuff? And I was like, well, I'm not going to force myself on you, number one. I'm around, and you were just doing this bobbing and weaving, and, you play chicken, and, enjoy the truck you're currently sitting in. I don't know what else to say. You missed the boat. You thought I'd be around forever, and I'm not. But your father was nice to me, and that's why I helped him with his armoire.
I mean, it sounds like it all worked out.
Yeah, I think so. For me, at least.
It sounds like she might have some regrets.
She has children, and that's good. She's happy, I think. Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Last one. Last thing you screenshotted. Allow me to look. My merch. I got a new mug. And I screenshotted it because they don't tell me when I have a Hey W mug. And they didn't tell me. But let me look at my deleteds and make sure there's not something better. So I feel like there's things that you delete. No. Picture with Ken Jeong. No. No, there's nothing good here. Oh, there is a good one. A comment that somebody left on one of my pictures that said, "Is this guy gay?"
And you screenshotted that?
Yeah, because I sent it to the person who took it.
Oh.
It was just an odd thing to leave a comment.
Was it a friend of yours?
No, just some random fan. It's just, is this guy gay? It was two guys. It was me and a guy who films Hey W, and we were sitting on set. And somebody wrote, "Is this guy gay?" And I was like, "Oh."
Wait,
Yeah.
who'd you send it to, though?
The other guy in the picture.
Oh! I thought you sent it to the person who left the comment. And I was
No,
so
I don't know the
confused.
person
Right.
at all.
Okay.
You know? So, and there's also these really great, I know you don't like to read the comments, but I like to read the comments of my own stuff, especially Hey
No, I
W.
do.
You shouldn't, though, right?
No, it's better not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get these comments, you'll break even, where the first comment will be, "This host is horrible. He's the worst fucking host I've ever seen. He should be, fired." And then immediately below it will be, it's like literally the exact opposite.
Mhm.
And then it just, it brings it up.
That
He's
works for
fantastic.
you?
We need more of it. And I was like, well, I'm crossing. Yeah, well, I've broken even. I don't think I'm fantastic.
No, but I
think
mean
that's
that
what
like
helps.
emotionally.
You don't dwell on the negative.
Because for
Yeah.
me, it could be like 20 positive comments
Mhm.
and 2 negative ones. And I'm like, well,
Well,
no one likes me.
So this is the thing. The negative comments bring me down, but the positive comments don't lift me beyond my neutral. The
Yeah.
positive comments
That's
keep
why
me at
reading
the neutral.
that's why reading comments is like a bad idea to begin
Right.
with, because
Right.
there was a point at which when I was on the Adam Carolla show,
Yes.
and there was just such a fervent
Fervent.
commentary.
Yes.
No, commenting.
Yes.
This is semantics, but anyway, there were tons of comments all the time.
Sure.
So and of course, like at the beginning, it's like 200 people talking about, leaving
Mhm.
comments about me. How can I not want to go look at that?
Yeah.
But it got to a point where I completely stopped. But before I just went cold turkey on it,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to look. And if I walk away feeling unscathed, that's a win.
Mhm.
So I can't think of a good analogy. I imagine everyone knows what I'm
So
talking
happy
about.
you're the host. Yeah, it's great.
Tony, add one in post.
I liken it to drowning and someone repeatedly throwing you dissolvable flotation devices. So you haven't fully drowned. You're not dead.
But you're talking the drowning being your emotional state to begin with.
Yeah, or reading those comments. You're
Yeah.
flailing, and then a negative one will start pulling you down, and then a good one will just bring you to the surface, but will not pull you to shore.
Right. No, the analogy I was going to talk about was going onto the specific board and looking and just being like, it's like walking through a room where your parents are having sex and you're like, I just hope I don't see anything.
Yeah.
Like I would just read 6 comments and I'm like, I don't feel bad, and I'm gonna cut my losses here because I did it and I was unscathed.
Right.
Like, and then I was like, what am I doing?
Right. With Hey W, I put a lot of different things. I put a lot of work into it and a lot of different kinds of comedy and different statements. And I'm interested to see what resonates
Mhm.
with people and what people discover. Sometimes they think they see things that aren't even there, which is just great.
Like what?
I mentioned someone offhand in the Soraya episode. I mentioned a wrestler named Alicia Fox, who has not wrestled for years and years and years, and it was just an obscure reference because it was funny to me, and people thought I was hinting that she was coming to the company, as if the company.
They're
This
like,
is all
let's put it on
cohesion.
our YouTube show.
Yes, is that we have this big group of writers and they map this out meticulously. And I just mentioned her the way I mentioned Kaye Ballard, who, if I may mention Kaye Ballard,
Please.
former guest Robin Shore
Yes.
and I had a delightful chat about Kaye Ballard over Instagram. Kaye Ballard, for those of you who don't know, and you being Allison, you know Kaye, Tony?
I don't think so.
Okay.
There's I feel I have a familiarity with
She
Kaye
was on a
Ballard.
show called The Mothers-in-Law.
Mm.
It was the show that Desi Arnaz produced right after I Love Lucy, and it was her and Eve Arden, who is the principal in Greece.
Yes.
Don't be a jock, be an athletic supporter. And they were mothers-in-law, and that was it. And they got up to shit. She was fantastic. She once apparently had sex with Marlon Brando, and I love her. I thought she was great and hilarious and wonderful. And then Robin posted something about her. And then I was like, oh, my God. And then we had a little back and forth about Kaye Ballard.
I got to look up Kaye Ballard because...
Kaye, Ballard, standard spelling. You may not even remember her. I don't even know what you would have seen her in. That's her. Yeah, but go hit the images section and maybe you'll get a younger one. She got some wonderful pictures with Carol Channing. They have a very powerful handshake, but I don't think that'll be of interest to
wait,
you.
is this her? Young her?
That's her.
Okay, yes, I
she
totally...
would sing. She would be a comedian. She would show up on Carol Burnett, and I had seen her first. She was on The Muppet Show. She's on a great episode of The Muppet Show.
Right.
So, yeah, that was my love affair with Kaye.
Well, you're welcome for introducing you to Robin, with whom you can bond about Kaye.
I appreciate it, because everyone else is dead.
Yeah.
Including Kaye Ballard.
Yes, very dead.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Kaye. So, I'm looking at the time. I did solicit questions from listeners, so I feel like we should hit a few of those.
Okay, would you say I beat your 7? With my openness?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, you're a total 9.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Sorry, I was unsure what we were talking about.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's a
Okay.
very classic 9.
Now I want to know all the questions.
When we ask, they send them in. They're wondering how you have been. So thanks so much for answering these questions from our fans.
Okay, so I am on Patreon, patreon.com/AllisonRosen.
Patreon.
And there are bonus episodes of The Friend Zone, my Patreon bonus podcast, which sometimes has a special guest. I did what I feel is the definitive Doug RJ interview with you. That's available for people who are like, I need more of this guy.
But then we're going to do
and
another one,
there's going to be 2.
So who's going to define that one? That's going to be... You've set
come
it up
back
to be...
to the source of the definition.
Yeah, but how many definitions do we need?
A
We're not
definition.
Miriam.
Well, this is a follow-up.
Okay.
It's
An addendum.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
a postscript,
Yeah.
a coda. No, it's more than that.
Looking back.
It's a retrospective.
Yeah.
This is you know what I think we should do? Just talk about the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a great idea.
So there's that, and then there's the retrospective, and then there's also tons of shows with other people, all your favorite people. They've been on that one, and I do AMAs, Ask Me Anything, and I do. I mean, it's just there's so much. There's also a level where you can text me, and I'll text you back. You can see videos of the Thursday Gang. I mean, come on. Patreon.com/AllisonRose. And if you do the annual subscription, you get 2 months free. But anyway, you can also get your question at the head of line. So there was a question there. And let me pull that up. Okay, well, so what I referred to you as shiny wrestler, interviewer, cheese advocate, because you had encouraged us to give Owen his cheese for Christmas.
Yes.
And then Megan... superfan Megan, who are familiar, said, he is your favorite cheese advocate? Wow, Allison, I see how it is, because she's from Wisconsin and she brought us curds.
I feel like she's a patriot.
Yeah.
I feel like she's an ambassador of Wisconsin. I was an advocate of your child.
Well, maybe I should have referred to you as Owen's guardian angel.
Yeah, I think so. I was really his Christopher Lloyd, Angels in the Outfield. Like, make sure this kid gets his cheese.
Yeah, and you did.
And I did.
And
he
then,
was thrilled.
Yeah, but then he wanted cabbage. So I got him cabbage, and it turns out he didn't like the cabbage.
The cabbage edition.
He didn't like the cabbage.
There's red cabbage, too. It's that beautiful purple. It's a lot harder. I think he might like it. Get him a red cabbage.
Yeah, I just got him
It's
bullshit
not that expensive.
green cabbage.
You know how much money you're saving because you have this bizarre child who wants the most basic items?
I know.
Take advantage of this. Encourage him.
I know, especially because Elliot, I don't know if you caught this before we recorded, Elliot was coming over a few times and showing me things on his iPad. These are things he wants for his birthday.
Yeah.
Which is coming up.
Yeah.
So, I
One
mean,
kid has an iPad. The other one has a bag of Baby Bells.
he has an iPad too. Okay, Tiffany Fuller says, he seems to have been into TV shows as a young person. Was there a universe he wanted to be in or a show that influenced him? For instance, I wanted to live Johnny Quest's life.
I think The Muppet Show and they also seemed to not have any other lives, and they seemed to just live at the show, which is always weird. Kermit never went, all right, I'm going home.
Yeah.
That was never a thing. And then you just assume they always like lived there, and that's all they did. And it also feels very much like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Showing up at AEW in the morning before anyone else to film stuff, and then being there all day. And I was like, okay, yes, I think I've chosen this universe. And wrestling, you were never really shown backstage in that capacity of this is what they do
Right.
when nothing's going on, So the Muppet Show and SCTV, which was also the Muppet Show, right? It was that same show within a show. We're trying to put on a show. It's this little, family of acts. Yeah.
I have a wrestling question
Go
in
ahead.
the middle of this segment.
Yeah. 5 o'clock.
Well, no, 3 o'clock apparently. Okay, so I have learned from you, and then also confirmed by Bowens, that it is incredibly painful. Wrestling hurts.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to understand is, I have two questions actually. Like, what made you? I understand being attracted to the theatrical aspects and like the performance and all of that, but I think what I was sort of surprised by last night was just how athletic it really is. And I know you've said that you don't have to be athletic to be a wrestler, but like,
Well, it's
I
a
felt like I was-
specific kind of athleticism that isn't often applicable in other areas.
but I felt like I was watching acrobatics or Cirque du Soleil. I mean, that was the part that I was the most impressed by, was like the balance, the ladder match and stuff, and like the flips. And I mean, every flip was just like very exhilarating to me and all
Yes.
that. And they all, I mean, I know not all of them, but many of them do that stuff. So I understand being drawn to all that. But at the point at which it's like, this is the point at which you experienced your first like, ow, fuck. What made you decide to keep going?
Well-
And my second question, though, and sorry, I'm just going to get it out there, is like, do you know people who think they want to do it and then they get thrown against the mat and it hurts and they're like, no, I'm out.
Right. So the messaging was very clear to me that it was going to hurt. Like,
Okay.
especially in the late 90s, and like it's where wrestling kind of became more graphic, the violence
Is that
on TV.
Is that the
and
Attitude Era?
The Attitude Era, a lot of getting hit in the head with a chair, which obviously turned out to be a horrible idea, and many people have stopped doing. The bleeding, the whatever. So I anticipated it hurting, and I prepared myself
How though?
for it to be like wrestling in your basement, and you know what I mean, like trying to fall down on the ground, and so you're anticipating it, so it wasn't a shock to me. And this is like, things don't hurt when you anticipate how much they're going to hurt before you do it. If you go, obviously jumping off a ladder, through a table, through the stuff last night, I'm sure a lot of those people knew exactly how much it was going to hurt, and that's part of the adrenaline of it. Matt Hardy yesterday was saying something. He did a big thing once, and somebody asked him when he got to the back, how much did that hurt? And he said, ask me tomorrow. I have too much adrenaline.
I see.
So there's
Yeah.
a part of that too, when you have, you have thousands of people cheering for what you're doing. You're in this weird mode where you're just flying.
Did you see Ruby Soho's face?
Yes, I did.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And
That I could not. with
I
that.
also saw her face when she broke her nose, and she just came back from breaking her nose. And
Yeah. Shouldn't she not be
yeah,
getting hit in the face that much right
But
now if they
that's-
just set her nose?
that's part of her. That's I guess the price you would pay. It's part of the deal.
Well, for the listener, this was one of the last matches, and this wrestler Ruby Soho was just like, her face was just shook like a tomato because it was
Yeah.
just covered in blood. Her face was just so red. And then there were also tacks
Right.
in this match, which no, this will air after Rampage airs. But I was turning away. I said to you ahead of time that I don't know if I can handle the blood. And you said you can always close your eyes. Were you being serious or being facetious?
Well, you can close your eyes if you really don't like it. You're not bleeding.
Yeah, no, I know, but I really did have to like do the
Yeah.
finger trellises. I was
Yes,
like, I cannot
some
handle
things
this.
people can't watch. But also, I would say certain things like that are an example of like performative exceptionalism of I'm going here and I'm doing this as part of my dedication and my thing, and this is how much I commit to what
Is
this
that her thing?
I don't think just that's her thing.
I mean, right. But I was thinking about how you had said, like, setting the price to bleed. Like, someone asked if you would bleed.
Sure.
And you said, well, how much are you paying
I
me?
said you don't have enough money.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's because they didn't have enough money. You know,
Right.
For certain situations, for me, I can only speak from my personal experience. I don't know how much
Have
it
you
makes
ever
to
have you
bleed.
ever done it though?
Not intentionally.
Okay.
And then when it's unintentional, you're like, that sucks because you gotta, make it work for you because I've already started bleeding. I might as well make a thing out of it.
Right.
I'm giving this away for free. Damn it. But no, to answer your second question, there are people who've come in from MMA, and once they realize that they have to stay open to be hit by other people, they're like, fuck this. And I don't blame them. They're also, because it's not logical. None of this is logical. You want to, turn away from people.
Right.
You don't want to let them pick you up. It's very weird. So it's an untraining of your instincts.
Tony and I were a little bit amused last night by the there's no possible way he could move out of the way any faster.
Oh, yeah, that's a very ongoing thing. It's one of those things you gotta this is a show.
Suspend your
Yeah.
disbelief. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you see a person, you
'Cause
get
some
laid
of
down on
the-
a table and they can't possibly
Yes,
get off the
right.
table. And,
I'm going to place you here and then I'm going to come back and harm you. And you're just going to sit here because we're setting this up.
Right.
But it works.
Yes, but that's also, I guess, in the same way in a play where they telegraph something.
Yes.
And you go, well, I know this is going to happen because you've set this up.
Right.
And it's I guess a better play wouldn't or catch you off guard, or they present it in a way that you wouldn't see the holes in their game.
Have you
know?
done tacks?
Inadvertently, yes. I didn't plan for them, but they were in the ring at a certain time. Somebody else used them.
Ugh.
And it's like, okay.
Are
that was
these-
stupid?
These are just like
They're-
the thumbtacks that I would use to put something on my
Yeah,
wall.
there's no
special
I
tacks.
did a TV show once, and they did a wrestling episode, and it was in the early 1900s, and they had a wooden chair made out of foam rubber, and I thought, why hasn't this caught on in wrestling? That would be an exceptional. There's no prop store. I don't understand why. I'm an advocate of more props.
So wait, those tables that they're crashing through are just regular office tables?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's certain ones that are easier and that don't have legs in the middle, which
Right.
would prevent
Oh
them
my
from
God,
breaking.
yeah.
But if you were backstage and saw things, I think you would be
I think I'm in an
Kind
Office
of-
Depot.
kind of disappointed that there doesn't seem to be a magic there. You know what I mean?
Well, good thing I wasn't there.
Yeah, no, but I mean, disappointed in a way where you're like, oh, this ladder is just a real fucking ladder. It's not
Right.
like a. I
Trick
think you would be
ladder.
very confused. I always say for something that's fake, it could be a lot more fake.
Right.
Could have really gone out of our way to make this fake, and we haven't. And I go, well, why not?
Right. Because they like pain? Because it's not organized.
I think so, because it gets into that area of that. It's the same way that some actors would pride themselves on really crying.
Right. Okay. I'm seeing the time, and we're going to have to blow through some of these,
All
and the
right.
rest we'll
Go
do on
ahead.
Patreon, though.
Yes.
This is an unintentional tease.
Sure.
Patreon.com/Allison. Okay. Bo Bacraft says, in quotes, what is it like?
Oh, it's
I don't know
great.
what that.
It's
What's that a
great
reference to?
I have no idea, but it's
Oh.
great.
Okay, great.
It's
What's this like? This show?
It's similar to Zoom, except this chair is better. So I'm
that's a
enjoying
you
it more.
thing.
That's a me. I need a better chair, is what I'm realizing. Yeah.
It's similar to Zoom?
Well,
you don't
it's the
find it to
same-
be totally different?
I
'Cause
find it
we
weird
find it
that
to
you're
be-
looking me in my eye when you're plugging your Patreon, and I go, and I go, that's not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That part's weird.
No, it is for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
personal pitch.
Thank you.
Okay. Michael Canick says,
Mm.
if you were in the Golden Girls kitchen and could pick any cheesecake to eat with them, what kind of cheesecake would you pick?
Rue McClanahan.
That's good. Okay. Adam J. May says, why did he stop making his More Content podcast? It was the highlight of my week. And I want to also give a plug to that podcast.
Yes.
I
It's
think
so
I listened
funny.
to many or all of the episodes, and I
Yes.
enjoyed most of them.
Yes. Well, I was contacted about doing a podcast for a large conglomerate of companies that were doing a big thing, and we want you, and we just love you. And it was in the middle of the pandemic, so I was like, I said, great, sounds good. And then, great, we'll be in touch. And they were never in touch. This is whatever. What the fuck? Pain in the... And the guy still follows me. I've complained to you about
Yes,
this, how very
more than
stupid it
once.
was. I don't know why people... It's insane when people do that.
Well, what is it? The part where they don't contact you? That's what you're
Well, it's
talking
like,
about.
oh, we'll be in touch. And it's like, you know, you left me hanging.
Yeah.
Why would you? And you don't hate me. I didn't do anything to... I don't think. At least say something, you know?
Yeah.
But in preparation for that, I was like, let me start doing one on my own to get the hang of it. Not that I didn't know, but I wanted to get a little, you know, whatever. So there are episodes and they're just 10 minutes long-ish. And I would just tell stories by myself. And that was it. And then this thing stopped. You know, this person's not contacting me. This podcast is clearly not happening. And then I was like, okay, I guess I'm still doing this podcast. And then I did it for a while. I don't know if there's 20 or 30 episodes, and they're nice. And then I thought, okay, I'm good. I wasn't making money doing
Right.
it. I was doing enough stuff. I was doing it on Wednesday nights before I was even working for AEW. So then I was like, yeah, let's, you know, whatever. This is a thing that I just enjoy. But I'm happy that anyone enjoys it. I forget it exists.
Yeah.
I tell the Peter Forsberg story in full if you want to relive my
I think that's how
childhood
I
trauma.
know. Yeah. Kay is trying, you guys.
Kaye
says-
Ballard?
No, sorry, Katie.
Oh, whatever.
Kaye Ballard has contacted us and wants to know, does he consider himself a co-host at this point?
We had talked about this,
We.
and I've insinuated that I'm taking over the show.
Yeah.
This long-running joke that you and
Yes.
I have had, that we're taking, it's going to be a coup
Yes.
to squeeze you out.
Yes.
Yeah, and the amount of tightening that Tony has to do in this episode, just because of your laissez-faire, quote-unquote, professionalism, I think is evidence enough that a change should be afoot.
It's cute
Right.
how you think that's this episode.
Hey, whose side are you on?
And I also said that we would keep the name Allison Rose,
Right,
so
to
we
be
could still sell
ironic.
merch, and,
Yeah.
but also, and just say like, Allison's going through a lot right now. You appreciate, please continue her Patreon.
Oh,
Yeah.
tell me more about
Maybe
your
we
plan.
should go to,
This,
like-
I've never heard what the plan is.
She's at a retreat. She's working on herself. I think that's what we're
Yeah.
going to say, and leave it open to interpretation.
and you guys are still going to record here,
yeah. Why not?
even though I'm in there.
The child likes me, the cheese child.
I have two, but
Yeah. Well, the other one talked to me about gum. He perked up too.
That's true.
I've won them over.
Yeah, and see, you said that that you're too much for kids, but I think that they were okay with you.
Yeah. Well, because I encourage them to get things as gifts.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay. Yes. And I think the way that this joke started
Mhm.
was to bring it back to this triangle of ours.
Yeah.
Was because you were blaming me for something and like upholding Tony or something like that.
Right.
And I said, "Oh, I see where your loyalty lies."
Yeah.
And then you were like, I said something about how I'm being pushed out.
I'm so glad that you filled everyone in on the specifics of it.
I know.
It's really good.
Because they heard the words, but they didn't get it before.
I remember doing this inside long running joke and saying this is worth it to explain in full
Should I read it?
and record. Yeah, that'd be great. Yes.
This is part of the tightening.
Yeah, it is.
You know what? I am like those Chinese finger cuffs.
Uh-huh.
The more you try to push me to speed up, the slower I get.
Mm-hmm. So you just have to release.
Yeah.
And I would purchase you at a Dave & Buster's for 25 tickets. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you can get me. You can get an oversized comb,
Mhm.
and you can get a small black and white television but like that's going to take a lot of tickets. Do you have Saved by the Bell? Good Morning, Miss Bliss thoughts?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Jeremy
do I have
Schmidt.
thoughts?
Well, I mean, are you familiar with
It's
it?
a horrible show that I can never
That's
get
not the
into.
question.
In an ironic sense, I can't even get into it.
Okay, it's still not
And
the question.
his question was, because I read it
Go
earlier,
for it. Yeah,
while I was
host the
working
show.
out at the hotel. You're good. Why don't you go water the lawn or something? He was saying, do I think Good Morning, Miss Bliss
Is canon,
with Saved by the Bell is part of the same universe?
even though
And if
there's like
so,
these inconsistencies.
how do you? Well, they lived in different states.
Yeah.
One is like Wisconsin, the other is California or something. That show is
Indiana.
so ridiculous and abnormal and not even kitschy enjoyable that I don't care. I do not care. It's so generous to even assume that show has canon.
There's so many things about it that don't make sense.
Yeah.
And also, I was actually talking about this the other day. It's how that show, how has that hung around for 30 whatever
It's.
years
I feel
now.
like it. I feel like it's like not a generation, but like I was too old to be really
Mhm.
the people that it appeals to, because it's weird when I find people for whom that was like April
Mhm.
Rich,
Richardson, yeah.
who excuse me, take that out. April Richardson. I think I'm going off of like her, Instagram
yeah.
name or email or something. Not her email. This is certainly anything you could figure out. She hosts this podcast called Go Bayside, which is a rewatch podcast. But have you been on that, Tony?
No, but I know April though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible. I
But
don't know why
anyway-
anyone is giving time to that show.
And that show, her podcast was popular. People, and like Mr. Belding is apparently like some super creep that pops up locally or used to.
Yeah, he used to always be at this karaoke bar up real close to
See,
here.
He's a
people
creep
have-
for doing karaoke?
no, he's lecherous, and also he enjoys
Oh, okay.
karaoke.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't like karaoke, to
Yeah.
be fair, but that's not the problem with you. Probably like karaoke, don't you?
No, I think I'm too good for it, so I've never done it. The same reason I won't bleed. Yeah, I won't sing for free.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, the same. No, I just feel like, where do you stand on karaoke? Because I just justify my distaste for it with, well, I played in a band, so I don't need to get up on
Yeah.
and sing into a mic.
It depends, you know. I've done it occasionally. It's not like I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna go do karaoke.
Because
It's
there's
like,
people who
if
are
I'm
super
hanging
into
out
it.
and
Mr.
had a few
Belding.
drinks,
Yeah.
I'll do it.
But
sure.
having said that, I have a few songs in the chamber.
Oh,
for
what are
such an
they?
event. I'm going to just turn to Tony because I don't think you know this song. "A Town Without Pity" by Gene Pitney.
Ooh, I don't know if I know that. I know the name Gene Pitney.
You'll
but
hear it. There's a movie. It's really an excellent song.
Sounds good.
You're going to love it.
Okay.
But no, I think as much as, online criticism culture, it's always mean to some things, I think we have to stop and acknowledge things that we unfairly prop up
Yes.
because there's probably a good time in our childhoods. I do that a lot. And Saved by the Bell is one of those things. You're being so generous
Mhm.
by treating that like a cohesive show.
Right.
Really. I mean, it's nice. You had a nice time. The color scheme was great. And that's all you're getting.
Yeah.
I think it was the college years or something.
Oh.
And they played volleyball, and Leah Remini was also there.
Oh no, that was just Saved by the Bell.
Really?
Yeah.
They went to the beach, though?
They like had summer jobs.
Yeah.
That was
I-
just Saved by the. I didn't.
Yeah.
realize
You know
that.
what's amazing? One of the audio guys on Hey W, his name is George, and we love him. He was in charge of all the remote sitcom episodes that were ever done at Disney. He
That's
would do
cool.
so he would do like whatever. When Full House went to Disney, he was the audio guy. He just knew Disney. I don't
Yeah.
know why. So I respect him more than
Then say-
Dennis Haskins.
But that sounds like not that much.
Oh, well, it's still something.
Well, RJ, this has been delightful.
Yeah. You don't need to rap with me because we got 2 other episodes to do.
Yeah, but
Talk to your viewers. Apologize to them for the flaccidness of this show.
thank you for joining us, Tony. I don't know how I feel right now.
It's not obvious
What's not obvious?
that you don't know how you feel.
I know I appear to be cool as a cucumber, and the thing about me is I've always got it under control. That's what they'll say about me.
No, they're already saying it.
They're already hearing this, and they're already saying it, and they're like, those guys threw so much at her, but you couldn't knock her off her game because she knows what's up.
Yeah.
And so then after the coup, you're going to hemorrhage listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Hemorrhage.
That's fine.
There's going to
And
be
we'll get the
a
real
hue
ones.
and cry.
Yeah. Who appreciate, good
Who appreciate you guys?
good broadcasting.
No one tunes into a podcast for good broadcasting.
No, they tune in to hear about how, my husband doesn't know how to park. Sorry, it took him an hour.
I mean, if I could
the
just...
Kia form,
Whereas-
where will we put our car? It's great.
Whereas you
Riveting.
and I will talk about Jamie Farr and things like that.
Again.
I like Jamie Farr. For real, I felt sad last night. I truly was like, this reminds me of other things in my life that they just were just slightly out of reach. Where it's like, oh man, I was looking forward to that thing and it totally did not go how I wanted it. My wedding, for example. So perhaps missing this show touched on some wedding wounds that I have. I'm just saying, we're all unhappy that I wasn't there.
Yeah. But it was your fault. It's under your control, I guess is my point.
I know that's what makes it worse.
Yeah.
I know.
I am shocked that you actually showed, though.
Thank you.
I know. While very, very late,
He just has
very late.
no bar for you. He has nothing.
Good. Do more on this, less of that.
Oh yeah, because
Did you think we weren't going to come?
Oh, I think I said to Pete and Flo, I was like, I think I'll believe it when I see them in there.
And then you saw us, and was it
90
like
minutes late?
And then, but still, there we were. And for you, was it like everything got dark, you could hear a pin drop and then the light shining on us and like we're kind of glowy?
No.
What?
No, I was paying
You were
attention.
drunk.
I was paying attention to that show that I got there for. Yeah. Having a great time.
You seemed happy to see me. Was that fake?
Well, as you said, I had some drinks in me, so, you know.
I know. You told me the story twice.
Did I?
Would you please wrap the first of 3 plagues, please? We've got a long way to go.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Thanks for listening. If you like what you've been hearing, or even if you don't, please make sure you're subscribed. Leave us a nice review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. 5 stars. Follow me on social media at Allison Rosen on Twitter and Instagram. And follow the show's Twitter feed at ARIYNBF. Listen to my other podcasts, Upworthy Weekly and Childish. RJ, where might we find you?
So many places. Google my name. A bunch will come up. Hey W's every Sunday at the crack of dawn, which is apparently 7 a.m. Eastern, according to some, I don't know, a sailor or something. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, I'll plug my other stuff in the other 2 podcasts I'm doing after this. I'm
You
just
think
spread
that?
them out.
Don't you understand that it might be different people
I'm
listening?
going to give it a little smorgasbord, and then I'll see who listened to what, where they find me.
I mean, okay.
Let me experiment.
I'd like to think it's the same people. I just think some people might have been like, I've had enough.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Tony, what about you? Where might we find you?
Twitter and Instagram at
Tony Thaxton.
and Bizarre Albums every Tuesday. That's it.
Thanks, guys. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen show?